Under the blinding arena lights, two warriors from opposite ends of the boxing world stood ready to etch their names into history. From Argentina, the ruthless power puncher Lucas Matthysse, a man known for leaving opponents unconscious with a single right hand. Across the ring from Thailand, the unbeaten Tewa Kiram, carrying with him the weight of expectation, pride, and an undefeated record that screamed dominance. The commentators could barely hide the anticipation. One punch can end it all, but which one will land first? The crowd roared, sensing something extraordinary about to unfold. Matthy's eyes were cold, fixed on his opponent like a predator, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Kiram, calm yet cautious, knew he couldn't afford a single mistake against a man whose fists were known as weapons of destruction. The bell rang, and the opening round became a chess match, wrapped in violence. Matthysse stepped forward with his trademark aggression, jabbing with 4. But Kiram was elusive, sliding back, using his reach and footwork to stay out of danger. Each movement was calculated, each second filled with tension. As the first few rounds unfolded, fans began to wonder, would the Thai sensation outbox the Argentinian destroyer? Or was Matthysse simply waiting, biding his time to unleash the storm? Every feint, every step forward, carried suspense. Nobody in the arena blinked, because everyone knew that one moment, one mistake, could flip the fight upside down. And in the shadows of that tension, the promise of violence grew. The storm hadn't yet struck, but the thunder was rumbling, and when it did, nothing would be the same. Matthysse, nicknamed La Máquina, the machine, began to turn gears. By the third round, his punches carried a sinister weight, thudding against Kiram's guard, shaking the young fighter to his core. Kiram tried to respond with quick jabs, snapping out punches to keep distance, but Matthysse stalked him like a predator, refusing to let prey escape. The Argentinian's eyes told the story. He was waiting for the crack in Kiram's armor. The Thai boxer, undefeated and proud, tried to prove he wasn't intimidated. He circled, darted in with combinations, then backpedaled. The crowd was split, half cheering Kiram's resilience, the other half chanting for Matthyse's knockout power. Each exchange grew more dangerous. Matthysse feinted, stepped inside, and unleashed a right hook that grazed Kiram's chin. The audience gasped. It was just a taste of what could happen if Matthysse landed clean. Kiram's defense held for now, but with each second, the pressure tightened like a noose. The ring itself seemed to shrink. Kiram's footwork slowed under the weight of Matthysse's pressure. The jab to the body, the hooks to the guard, everything carried menace. The commentators whispered, "How long can he survive this storm?" By round 6, the tension was unbearable. The undefeated Thai fighter was still standing, but Matthysse's punches were landing heavier, harder, and closer. It wasn't a matter of if. It was a matter of when. The knockout machine was powering up. By the 7th round, the electricity in the arena was unbearable. Fans were on their feet, screaming, sensing that the fight had reached its critical moment. Matthysse was relentless, walking Kiram down, cutting off the ring, and digging hooks into the body that echoed like cannon fire. Kiram's face showed the story, swelling around the eyes, his breath coming heavier with every exchange. The Thai warrior tried to fire back, throwing desperate jabs and looping rights, but Matthysse's pressure was suffocating. Every punch the Argentinian threw looked like it could end the fight. The tension was thick, each second hanging in the air like a blade waiting to drop. Then came the 8th round. Matthysse, eyes burning with ruthless intent, began hammering through Kiram's guard. A stiff jab snapped Kiram's head back, followed by a monstrous right hand that sent shockwaves through the arena. The crowd erupted. Kiram staggered, legs trembling, but he refused to fall. His pride wouldn't let him. The commentators shouted, "He's hurt! He's badly hurt!" Matthysse smelled blood, his fists now pistons firing with devastating rhythm. Kiram clung on, but his survival seemed temporary. A man trapped in a storm with nowhere left to run. The fans knew it. The commentators knew it. Kiram himself must have felt it. The end was near. The ninth round opened with an ominous silence. Everyone in the arena knew they were seconds away from witnessing destruction. Matthysse moved forward with the calm of a predator ready for the kill. Kiram's legs were heavy, his punches slower, his movements desperate. Then it happened. Matthysse launched a thunderous overhand right, the kind of punch that fighters don't recover from. It detonated against Kiram's jaw, sending him crashing to the canvas. The crowd exploded into chaos, the sound deafening as fans screamed and jumped to their feet. Kiram tried to rise, his arms trembling as he pushed against the canvas. But Matthysse's power was unforgiving. The referee hovered, counting, but the look in Kiram's eyes told the truth. The fight was over. Lucas Matthysse has done it again. An explosive knockout, the commentators roared. The Argentinian machine stood tall, his fists raised, his legacy as a knockout artist further cemented. The once undefeated Tewa Kiram lay on the canvas, his perfect record shattered in the most brutal fashion. It wasn't just a win for Matthysse, it was a statement, a reminder to the boxing world that when Matthysse steps into the ring, destruction follows. The storm had finally struck, and it was every bit as devastating as the fans had feared. The arena was still trembling from the shockwaves of the knockout. Fans shouted, whistled, and clapped, their voices rising in a chaotic symphony of disbelief and awe. Lucas Matthysse stood tall, sweat dripping, gloves still raised, his face carved with the cold satisfaction of a warrior who had fulfilled his promise. The lights glared down on him, illuminating the victorious Argentinian like a champion out of legend. On the other side of the ring, medics surrounded Tewa Kiram, who sat against the ropes, staring into the distance with empty eyes. His undefeated record had vanished in the blink of an eye, shattered by the sheer power of Matthysse's right hand. It was a bitter pill, but even in defeat, he had shown courage, stepping into a storm most men would avoid. The referee lifted Matthysse's hand as the announcer declared, "Winner by knockout, Lucas Matthysse." The roar was deafening, echoing through the rafters. Argentina had its hero once again, and the boxing world, reminded of the man's terrifying gift, the ability to end fights with a single strike. Reporters rushed ringside, their microphones trembling as they tried to capture the moment. Matthysse, breathing heavy but unshaken, spoke with the calm of a predator who had done his job. "I told you all, when I land clean, it's over." The cameras zoomed in on his steel gaze, locking the moment into boxing history. For Tewa Kiram, it was the painful beginning of rebuilding. For Lucas Matthysse, it was another chapter in a career defined by brutality and unforgettable knockouts. The night ended with cheers still shaking the walls, fans knowing they had just witnessed something special. A fight that would be replayed for years, not for its length, but for its violent, unforgettable ending. Matthysse had struck like lightning, and the world of boxing felt the thunder.